The court process to release Nnamdi Kanu is failing. So many negotiations are failing. So many letters that they have written from the House of Representatives, House of Senate to the presidency seems to be failing. But in the midst of all this failing process, the big masquerade has already started dancing. Today, Mr. Peter Obi has ordered Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu. He asked for his release because he said that Nnamdi Kanu has not done anything wrong regards to the agitation for the sovereign state of Biafra. He said that the Court of Competent Jurisdiction, which is Appeal Court of Nigeria, had ordered the release of Nnamdi Kanu before. Peter Obi, during the 2019 presidential election, he was the running mate to Atiku Abubakar. Before the election, he himself and Atiku traveled to London to see Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu earlier declared that there will not be election in the southeast. But after the consultation with Peter Obi and so much deliberation, he allowed the people of the southeast to vote for Atiku. So there has been this synergy, and Peter Obi is one of the Igbo politicians who have never criticized the activities of Nnamdi Kanu. Well, what he said today, how is it going to take effect? Do you think that Tinubu will hear to what Mr. Peter Obi said? The truth is this: absolutely yes. Because when you are talking about a political negotiation to release Nnamdi Kanu, you should not remove someone like Peter Obi in the picture, because as far as Nigeria is concerned, Peter Obi should be or is the political leader of people from the southeast. He is the number one person that is known for his political activities, the most popular and the most powerful as far as southeast is concerned. So let us go step by step to understand how Peter Obi asked Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu, why he said so, and what will come out of it. This article is from Shara Reporters, and it reads: Peter Obi asked Tinubu government to obey court, release IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. This article was written on June 29, 2024, and it reads: Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has called on President Bola Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra IPOB, along with other imprisoned freedom fighters. Obi stated that there is no justification for the ongoing detention of the IPOB leader, especially since he has been acquitted by the courts. The 2023 presidential candidate, while addressing journalists on Saturday in Okocha, Anambra State, urged leaders to intensify efforts in addressing insecurity. He warned that without the immediate action, the nation could spiral into failure. According to him, I don't see any reason for his continuous detention, especially as the court have granted him bail. The government must obey the court. The rule of law is an intricate asset that we must cherish and live with. I use this opportunity to plead with the federal government and ask them to ensure that all those who are in similar condition are released and discussed. We are in a democracy, and we should not be doing things that are arbitrary and not within the law. He explained that with the increasing insecurity in the country, Nigeria was gradually moving towards becoming a failed state unless urgent action was taken to salvage the situation. The primary work of the government is the security of lives and property. It is the foundation on which people can live in any nation, because no one can stay in an insecure place. It is worrisome what is happening in Nigeria with the news of killings, abduction, and other vices that have made Nigeria one of the most insecure places on earth. In fact, it is leading to a failed nation. I commend the government for their efforts so far, but there is a need to do more, and all leaders must come together to join hands and fight this. In the southeast, there is a need for the governors to come together to be able to tackle it. Even in economic agenda, I want to see the southeast governors work closely more. We want to see them come together and also bring together other groups in the zone. I am against riot or disruption of government access and property, because it is still scarce resources that we are going to use to repair them. But I am not against peaceful protest. Peaceful protest is allowed, but it must be for a reason and not the personal interest of someone or some people to justify a particular interest. It must be properly articulated and properly directed. I recall when people said they were protesting police brutality, and I said to them, no, let's rather deal with the leadership. If we have good leadership, their agent can be bad. The problem is leadership. If the leaders are competent, have the capacity and do the right thing, their agents will follow their examples. I want to use this opportunity to say that all those who are being held because of one protest or the other should be released. Whether it is freedom fighter, NSAS protesters, or even because of freedom of speech, be it journalists, let them all be released immediately. We are in a democratic country, and people have the right under the Constitution to express themselves freely. They also have the right to peacefully protest, and we must listen to them. We must listen to those who say they are not happy. That is why it is a democratic nation. We should stop acting dictatorial and behave as if this is not a democratic country, he added. Now let's talk. For me, I believe that Peter Obi did well for, weighing in to call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and so many other people have been detained unjustly in the country. But it doesn't stop there. I really want Peter Obi to put more action. I want Peter Obi to put more move. It doesn't end at speaking. I know that Peter Obi is someone that people respect his words. Nigeria respect his words. When he speaks about a matter, they take action to do that matter because he controls a lot of people. So I really want Peter Obi to make a move. To make sure that Kanu is released. If Peter Obi want to prove more to the people of the Southeast that he truly loves them and he cares about their security, I think he has started the move, and this is the time to prove it to the end. So anything someone, you begin something, you must try to finish it to the end. I don't know how so many people will think or feel about this, but I check about Peter Obi's activities. I have never seen, where Peter Obi really condemn ordinary agitation for Biafra or ordinary IPOB agitation. If there is any crisis, any criminal sin, that is only where Peter Obi will speak and condemn it. But as far as the Biafra agitation is concerned, I've never seen where Peter Obi condemn it. I've never seen that. If you have seen it, you can equally send it to me. But as far as I'm concerned, I know that I have not seen anything like that. So I think since he has not been speaking before, this is a new voice, this is a new move, and I think his call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu will be respected by the federal government. So I do not undermine so many people who have been agitating for Nnamdi Kanu to be released, including myself. Everybody wants him to be released. So both the House of Representatives, especially the House of Rep member representing Nnamdi Kanu, Okocha, something like that, he has been trying his best, lobbying to make sure Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And so many House of Rep members who wrote letter, the likes of Edwin Clark and so on and so forth, the Niger Delta group who gave ultimatum that is going to expire this weekend. So there are a lot of people who want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. But Peter Obi made a very good point, saying that courts had earlier released this man. So this country, if you people say that we are in a democratic regime, you should act as one within a democratic regime. So what he said is absolutely correct and perfect. So let me know what you think about what Peter Obi also said.
Longer Nnamdi Kanu remain in prison, the more the cause he is fighting for is being flourished by his own detention. Tinubu is a president that came from the trenches. He is one of those who fought for democracy and freedom. And I believe, if not for the fact that he went to exile, he could have ended up in prison with us in the 90s. Then someone of his own stature cannot be lectured about democracy or human rights, because we are all in the trenches fighting. So my expectation is that the problem cannot be solved by keeping the leader of the struggle perpetually in prison. You don't solve the problem. You can only solve the problem if you discuss the problem.
I put the question to the governor during our media chat. I said, can you say with finality that the sit-at-home syndrome has been defeated? The governor initially didn't answer the question, and I put it back to him. I said, I asked you a definitive question, sir. Can you say with finality that the sit-at-home syndrome has been defeated, especially in the hinterland? Again, he tried to show me that, yes, progress has been made. Didn't you see people moving around? So I was worried because the Biafra Day celebration is a day like no other. But where a group that has been proscribed is telling people to go on holiday, the question you ask is, where did it derive that legitimacy from?
Yeah.
To tell people, no, today don't go out. We are celebrating, we are remembering our fallen heroes and all that. To make matters worse in this matter, Simon Ekpa, on his part, said the sit at home is not going to be for one day, that it will be from the 29th to the 31st of May. Now you can imagine keeping people in their homes, telling people not to go out for all those days. How would people feed? How would they survive? Staying indoors for a people who are very enterprising, who are no
security post in Aba killing 5 soldiers and 6 civilians during a shootout. Your thoughts?
I think it was one of the most cowardly acts that has been carried out recently. It's quite sad because it's like 1 year down the line, we still have the security challenges. But what bothers me here is that they came in 3 tinted SUVs, Prado. Everybody knows how much a Prado cost. That should tell you how much these people are, how they're being funded. While the 3 XUVs were approaching, they also had ground support. So there was failure of intelligence, because at that Obiakaba's junction, in Obingwa local government area where this attack took place, I heard the junction is a wide junction that they could have been able to tell. And when you see 3 SUVs coming at the time when you have talked about sit at home, I thought there should have been more of intelligence. As sad as it is, but it was a surprise attack. And at this point in time, the National Intelligence Agency have to sit up, because Simon Ekpa is becoming more of a clog in the wheel of progress for the 5 southeastern states. Some of us have said that holding down Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been negative, because it has given cause to raise a Simon Ekpa who is not preaching the same sermon as Nnamdi Kanu was preaching, who is preaching violence. He's in Finland. I wonder what the Nigerian embassy in Finland is doing, and the Nigerian foreign minister is doing at this material point in time. He goes on Twitter, he calls out those violent acts, he goes on propaganda, he says he's carrying out referendum and they have been 30 million votes. Apparently this attack was not done by IPOB, this was done by Simon Ekpa's boys, and he probably posted it on Twitter. If you notice, he has been number 1 on the on trends for some time now on Twitter, and he's enjoying all the media attention, and you know, that gathers him more support, gathers him more finances, and these are the finances that he's using. You know, he actually does empowerment programs. Simon Ekpa, he sends funds to these people who actually also see him in the quest of being a benefactor. So the government has to do something about it. Yes, if not, the Southeast is going to continue to be a war theater. And one thing I must also point out,
briefly,
the military says they're going to go after them, but this is a guerrilla warfare. It's quite difficult to get people in a guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, that's why we're warning that it has to be done within the ambit of the law. But I mean, you make some very good points there, and of course the Nigerian government can't go to Finland and sort of try and extract Simon Ekpa from there, but all they can do is try and get the cooperation of the Finnish government. And the Finns have said that they've tried at one point to pick him up. They said that there just didn't seem to be any evidence directly linking him to what was going on here. Well, let me come to you, Abba Kaka, and I apologize, I was calling you Abba Kaba, but somebody had written your name that way. and forwarded it to me. So I do apologize. But I mean, Kenny Okolobo was talking about this and the linkage to Nnamdi Kanu. Does all this make it less likely, because the name IPOB is associated with this, that Nnamdi Kanu will be released anytime soon? Or does it strengthen the argument which he himself makes, that in his absence, the group is running amok, but if he was freed, the reason for their violent protest?
Because we need to look at the causes of the problem in the southeast. We need to look at what actually caused these very problems. And I could see that when the people of Indigenous People of Biafra started, it was a very peaceful movement. In all Nnamdi Kanu has done in the process of sensitizing people for secession, he never used any gun. He never used any form of weapon. But unfortunately, this process has been hijacked. Because people have hijacked it, and especially miscreants, even when the young man had said openly, publicly, and even in writing, that look, I am not in support of anybody maiming and killing anybody in the southeast. But the likes of Simon Ekpa could not see any reason with that.
Okay, so now that you mentioned Simon Ekpa, he's somewhere in Europe living his life and dishing out orders from that part of the world to people that live in the southeast. And mostly he's being obeyed, or he has people that carry out his orders. Why do you think the southeast governors have not done something about Simon Ekpa specifically? Obviously, the man is powerful and people are listening to him on the ground.
Well, the Southeast governors could appeal to the Attorney General or the President, because the law is very clear. What the federal government ought to do is to seek a way to extract
the Southeast.
All right, a political solution, you say, but it's not only Nnamdi Kanu that in time past has fanned the flames of IPOB, but you and I know that Simon Ekpa, all right, regardless of Nnamdi Kanu trying to bring a little bit of sense into all that has been happening, we've had Simon Ekpa actually fanning the embers and actually probably stoking people to go out there and continue what they've been doing.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think Samuel Ekpa is even working with the IPOB. If he's serious, he should come back to Nigeria and begin to ask his people to lead. You cannot, stay outside Nigeria and directing misguided people to be committing heinous crime.
I
also
Mr.
believe
Jeffrey,
that government should enter.
Permit me to come in here. Yes, a lot of people have said that.
Yes.
We know he's still in Finland, but it doesn't change the fact that he's a voice that several people, especially those in the southeast, listen to. So saying that he should come, that probably he should come back.
Well,
that's probably not a very, very realistic move, but he's still a voice that people listen to, especially those in the southeast.
Yeah, it's a voice. It's a voice, if you remember what I said, it's a voice to misguided elements. It's not a voice to reasonable people. But I can be listening to him. Most people cannot be listening. But some of these people who have been brainwashed will be listening to him. But he's there, enjoying himself. I also believe that this time, government should enter into negotiations with the country where he's operating from and see whether he can be repatriated and to enable him face trial, because what he's doing is worse than what Nnamdi Kanu was doing. So he should be brought back for trial.
So what is the way forward? How do we prevent this from happening again, whereby we have non-state actors attacking our military personnel? How do we stop it, not just in the southeast, but in all parts of the country?
You see, in all parts of the country, for instance, if I talk of the southeast, that people should come out to volunteer information. The people are scared. They are afraid. They cannot give out information because these people are living within the same people. So our security agencies should intensify efforts to flush out these elements from their hideouts. And once that is done, because I was watching a video on Arise this morning, they were parading themselves.
In DSS, called a meeting of all the leaders of the Southeast and said, this is what Nnamdi Kanu said, that he is not part of this. Yet, every Monday, what happens is this. A few miscreants, and I use the word advisedly, come out, shoot and kill one or two people, and run away, and video it and send across the whole of the Southeast, and everybody is now scared. The governors we met, all of us in the National Assembly we have met, everybody has condemned it. I need the Senate to know that there is no one in the Southeast except the criminals who support this sit-at-home. Their modus operandi is simple. It's just terror. I have called the market leaders in Abia, and I said, you can't continue to stay away. And they told me that the people have threatened to burn their markets at night if they don't stay away. So this is beyond the citizenry coming out to just say, we don't accept it. Because what they have done is to use terror tactics to intimidate a whole region. And we have had meetings with the DSS, and all that the DSS has told us is, listen, these are just a few people. They will come out in one road, they will find somebody just driving along on his way to doing anything, shoot him, and then they will say it is because of sit at home. Take his car away, go and keep it in their den, and later go and sell it. So these are nothing but criminals. So I support this motion, and especially the matter concerning someone who is a dual citizen of Nigeria and Finland, staying in Finland, giving orders, and in fact, giving, I will say, orders that you don't understand why people should accept it here. But then, criminals will always find a reason to do what they want to do. I have also had interactions with the Finnish embassy, and in fact, the United Nations head in Nigeria, who is from Finland. And what she told me was, it is a government-to-government interaction that will lead to a resolution of this, because as a citizen of Finland, that he has a right to express his opinion. But I can tell you, my dear colleagues, each and every one of us has suffered greatly from what is happening in the Southeast. They attacked Senator Kalu when he was doing campaigns. They attacked me. There's nobody they have not tried to intimidate. But we cannot be intimidated because we are in a country that has rule of law. And so I support this motion in its entirety. And when the time comes for the prayers, if there's anything I will add, we will. But we want to urge our colleagues and the rest of Nigeria to see this matter not just as a Southeast matter,